All right, guys, we are back here with another one, man. It is your boy, Jimmy,
And of course, it's the one and only Dark Side.
and we are back here again. Combat Esports Media. Today, we have one of the pillars for the UFC 4 community, Mr. Pryoxis. How you doing, man?
Yo, what up? I'm good. Yeah, how y'all doing? Can't even talk. How y'all boys doing?
Yeah, you already know what time it is, man. What time it is. And, I'll start it off with the first question. Essentially, everybody knows who Pryoxis is. If you played UFC 4, you know who Pryoxis is. But I want to ask you, how did you actually get started in the UFC 4 community?
UFC 4? Well, you had to go back. You had to go back to UFC 2. Like the end of UFC 2, I was streaming consistently, like crazy. And actually, I was trash at the game. And started picking up a little viewership on there on Twitch, and did, you know what I'm saying, we're moving over to YouTube. But I started out on Twitch on UFC 2, and I actually was inspired by like Anza. So came from there. Anza knew about me, and then that's when everybody from Vegas MMA knew about me or whatever. And from there, just picked up viewership as I got better at the game and basic tutorials and stuff.
But I guess my question's kind of go on that same point. You talked about in the beginning you weren't. I think it's actually something a lot of people in the community might be able to take some tips from. Because you said in the beginning in UFC, at the end of UFC 2, you didn't even feel like you were really good at the game, but you were still streaming. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? Like, even though you knew you weren't really that great at the game, but you still streamed anyways. And some people, I think, feel like, if they're not good at the game, then they shouldn't be streaming, or they're going to get ridiculed and stuff like that. So talk to somebody who might feel like, I want to start streaming, or I want to start making content in the community, but I don't feel like I'm one of the top level players. Give somebody like that some advice.
Right. So think about how many people out there that you watch, they casually play video games and have a lot of subscribers, and they're trash at video games. Like, it's a personality thing, and then you could be entertaining with your personality, or you can be entertaining with stuff that you with edits and things that you put on your stream, or you're like Dark Side, you right now, how you have that background up. It's certain stuff you can do to be entertaining. It isn't always about being good at the game. That's one thing. But the most successful people on YouTube are what? Entertainers. Mr. Beast, is he any good at? He doesn't even do anything. He makes entertaining videos. A lot of the guys at the top of this YouTube shit are entertaining. And I'll even go a bit of a stretch. But he's when it comes to YouTube streaming, he's top dog right now. Speed. Is Speed good at these videos? Speed is good at 2K and stuff, but why are people watching Speed? Are they watching him for the game he's playing or for Speed? Right. And a lot of guys, and that it's really I see it a lot within the UFC 4 community, and a lot of times it's not even just combat games, it's sports games that are one-on-one essentially, where it's just you. So there's no, you have friends in a party with you that, you're playing Call of Duty that help entertain the stream. It's just you. You play WWE, it's just you, unless you're playing with your friends. But if you're playing one-on-ones, it's just you. UFC, it's just you. Mortal Kombat, it's just you. Any of those type of games, it's just you. And a lot of people find it that you gotta be good. You don't have to be good. You just have to be entertaining and be able to keep people in your stream. And I'll give you another example of someone that is not good, and it's no disrespect. He literally has past me in subscribers on YouTube, and you guys, I believe he's called himself the Bowl Cut Boy. I can't think of his name exactly, but he had I think around 10,000 subscribers in December. I'm gonna look it up right now because I'm already on YouTube. Bowl Cut Boy. I guarantee he's sitting. VR Diablo. He has 85K. So, and he's just entertaining. And if you watch his videos,
they are.
Sorry for the promo on my man's, but they're entertaining. He's funny, bro. His edits are funny, and it's about finding what makes your videos stand out from other people. You can't go into the YouTube business trying to copy somebody else. Yeah, obviously a lot of people do reactions, but even reactions, some people have their own. Flight Reacts has his own type of way he does reactions with videos. So it's about finding, one, what's entertaining, two, what's going to keep you motivated to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying, and not make it feel like you got to do this in order to get viewership. Don't feel like you got to be good at the game to get viewership. Does it help? Of course. People like watching high-level players, but people also like watching entertaining content creators.
So. All right, and I can kind of attest to that. When I started out, it really wasn't more about being good at the game. It was more so trying to entertain people and make people happy. I really think that should be everybody's main goal, just me personally, and everything else just comes with it. Because honestly, a lot of people say, it's easy when it's really not, bro. It's the reason why a lot of these ESFL guys, these top level guys, they don't scream. And no offense to them, it's just that they don't have the capability to sit in front of a camera for 2 to 3 hours and just, try to entertain a chat full of 30 to 100 people. It's just no disrespect to them. They just don't have the capabilities to do that. You know what I mean? So I think people value entertaining, because the human has a short attention span, man. Humans have a real short attention span. So you just sitting there playing the game, being a high level player, it doesn't cut it now. Maybe back then, UFC 2, maybe UFC 3, but now, as we've advanced in technology and in forms of entertainment, just like being good at a game isn't going to help.
Before you say, like, before Dark Side goes, because I know a lot of y'all gonna take what JMMA said and y'all gonna run with it on Twitter and be like, and y'all love to try to drag JMMA. It's facts. Like, it's easy to go and compete versus, in the ESFL or just any of those affiliate leagues. It's easy to go and compete there. Obviously, there's competition, but try to entertain a chat or be a legitimate streamer or content creator. You know what I mean? It's a different level, and no one would understand unless they actually do it. It's easy to fight once a week versus trying to upload just 3 times a week. So that's all I'm saying. Or even sit in front of a chat for 2-3 hours at a time and actually interact with them while trying to play high ranked fights on UFC 4. So again, so what he said is true. So if you're gonna drag Jay, tag me too.
No cap.
Facts. I'm actually glad you both talked about. I'm gonna add on to that a little bit too, because this is something I don't think is talked about a lot either. Like how you guys are saying, like some of these high level guys, they can't really stream and stuff like that. But like I think what also goes into that too, because it's happened to me. I'm sure like you both play UFC way more than I do, so I'm sure it's happened to you, where you like prior said like the guys play once a week, they're competing in ESFL and stuff like that. When you see them play in ESFL, you see them play one way. But when you run into them when there's no cameras on them, nobody's recording that gameplay, they play in a whole different way when they're playing when there's no lights on, there's no lights, camera action. And they play playing a whole different way, but when they get on that stage, they look a whole lot different than when you played them the other day. And I think that's a lot of the time where some of those high-level guys, they don't stream, they don't put out content. Because most of the time when they're playing the game, it's not what they normally display on that one day a week.
Right.
That is
exactly.
A fact. And even as far as to go, because I've had multiple people come to me about multiple people. Be like, because they play me and they expect, I'm a YouTuber, so and they know me. So if they see Pryoxis and they play that certain way, it's a possibility if I beat them, the title gonna have the word exposed in there and people gonna click. But I've had people tell me, and I ain't gonna name nobody, but if you know yourself, you know yourself. They play me a certain way, and then they go and play ranked a whole different way when they're not playing me. I've literally, you know what? I'm finna go on the prowl. I'm finna go out here with a second account. We gonna find you. And I'm about to find y'all, man. So be looking. Actually, don't be looking. You ain't gonna know. I'm gonna do what Marshall be doing. He be hiding his name at the top right. He be goddamn putting a different whole cover at the top. I can just turn off HUD. But I could do that. And then upload the fights weeks later so they forget it was me. Hold on, let me find out. I'm done on that subject. I ain't gonna speaking on that.
Yeah, but we talked to Fight Night's finest not too long ago, and when we asked him about Esports Boxing Club, he really said he didn't have any opinions on the game because the game hasn't come out, and he's not really a developer himself. He's not really really heavy deep into the game, so he really doesn't want to give his opinion. But I've seen you drop content. You've talked about ESBC. Actually, we all three of us have our fair share of content. What's your thoughts specifically on ESBC now with everything that's out now after the creator event?
Right. So before the creator event, I mean, I didn't know where to, because obviously the company's not going to show us. Well, we still haven't seen like a round of gameplay, nothing like that. The company ain't going to show us something that like they don't want us to see. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to have an opinion on it. But after the creators event, and I watched these creators' content as far as what they were saying on it, and honestly, it sounds very hopeful. It sounds like that they are going to work very hard on mastering the game and dropping a well-polished finished game. So honestly, like, I'm happy for that. What I've seen as far as gameplay, as far as what they've shown us, I mean, I'm content with that as well. A lot of people are looking at ESBC and they're expecting perfect punch animations, and what they don't understand is actual physics. If they slow down, even I'm gonna say this, and some people may disagree. Even if you go to real fighters, right, and you slow down their actual fight and you look at the way they punch, I guarantee it would look similar to a lot of the stuff that probably ESBC is doing, but they don't understand because these boxers are punching real fast. So it's hard to see how their angles or their punches are going if they're punching real fast. Obviously, some of the animations, obviously, we know the game's still in what, pre-alpha. We know that these things need to be fixed. But to act like all these punches are thrown perfectly when a lot of fighters be throwing arm punches is like actually despicable. It's actually disappointing that a lot of people look at ESBC supposed to be this perfect punching game, and then they look at fucking Fight Night Champion as if it was this marvelous boxing game, and even the animations in Fight Night Champion, even Fight Night Champion, a game that came out in 2011, has animations that are in EA Sports UFC 4 that came out in 2021 or 2020. Think about that. So let's not drag ESBC and actually give them a chance. On top of that, nobody has actually played the game to get a feel of it. Before we go dragging the game and getting talking on Twitter, we all know the animations can get better, but let's not drag it.
Yeah, facts. Definitely got to agree with you there. And I guess we can kind of parlay that into something I asked Finest too, because I know you're gonna like this topic I'm about to ask you right here. It's basically the same thing I asked Finest, where basically we know most of the community, all the fighting games currently basically been like that kind of arcade type of style, where obviously all of us can tell there's not a lot of sim elements in the games we've had so far. And we got a lot of people in both communities, both the Fight Night community and the UFC community. Both sides think when they transition to a game like ESBC that's basically focusing primarily on sim mechanics, that they're just going to be able to pick it up. They're going to play like every other game they've had before. They're going to be good just like every other game they've been before. And when I say good, of course, that's relative, because we know some of these people who claim that they're good. We know what they're really good at. Yeah. It's not playing the game correctly. But I'm saying, how do you think the average player in like UFC 4, for example, how it's going to be for them to like transition to like a game that actually you have to like use IQ and focus it on sim mechanics?
Honestly, I think with ESBC, no matter what video game, what fighting game, there's going to be a meta, and there's going to be something that people can abuse. And if they can abuse it, they're going to. The question is, to what severity can they abuse it at? A lot of stuff in UFC 4 with these knees and elbows, they can be abused very hard because the punish for them it's severe if you catch them, but what's the chances of actually sidestepping a knee? You know what I mean? And with ESBC, so a lot of these guys in the UFC 4 community get away with a lot of stuff within the game and don't get punished hard for it. Now, when you do that and you take it to a game like ESBC, and if there's a one-punch KO because you did this idiotic thing, and you get punished hard for it, a lot of these players won't understand the word punish, especially coming from a fighting game. And obviously UFC 4 is supposed to be this sim game, but I mean, I look at it more arcade. So if we compare an arcade UFC 4 game and we try to throw these guys into a different combat game that has frame data and all these other things, a lot of them would fold. And it's going to be that same way with ESBC. A lot of them are going to fold when it comes to actually learning the aspect of the game. And a lot of them are going to be on YouTube channels trying to find tutorials, or they're going to be trying to find what's the best way to win. But the best way to win is always going to be no matter what, it's going to be a meta in a video game. But what happens when that meta isn't as strong as UFC 4's meta? You know, what happens when someone can make a proper read on you and proper counter, and now you got to switch it up. But because you are so one-track minded and stuck on that particular game style, you're not even making reads and switches. You're just continuously doing that same thing. A lot of people cycle through combos in UFC 4. What happens when somebody makes a read and they hit you with a nice counter in ESBC? And I'm telling you, a lot of guys are going to be a trade. Anyone that thinks, oh, I'm good at UFC 4, I can just transition over to ESBC and be good. Do me a favor. Go get on another combat sports game and do the same thing that you did. And play against, and since this is the top, right? ESBC is the top of the gaming community with UFC 4. Go out there and try to do it to Sonic Fox. Go out there and try to spam something to Sonic Fox, bro. First of all, you probably not even gonna get no chance to play offense. But go out there and try to spam something or abuse something versus a player in a game that will heavily punish you for doing something idiotic. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna look good. So it's gonna be that same way at ESBC. It's first of all, gamers, anyone that thinks because I'm a real boxer, I'm get on those guys' heads too. If you think I'm a boxer in real life, I'm gonna be good at the game, cut it out. At the end of the game, your fingers have to work. You know what I mean? Your mind got to work too, but your fingers got to work too. You could be the fastest man out there, and the best boxer, but you get on the game and you average, or you prelim. You know what I mean? So don't think because you got boxing knowledge, it will take you somewhere, but you still got to be mechanically good. There's a lot of guys out there that are good mentally. They can break down the game, but when it comes to actually mechanically being skilled, it's not there. So there's going to be guys that are gamers, and there's going to be guys that have the IQ. And the guys that confuse them both are the ones that are going to be successful in ESBC. If the game is sim-based. And I like sim, but most importantly, if you want a esports game, you have to have balance first. Balance is 100% needs to be your main focus, and then you work on the other aspects. That's my opinion on that.
Right, and I want to transition over a little bit back to the UFC 4 community. It's been, over the past about 2 years, it's been a lot of shifts in the UFC 4 community. You yourself have been in ESFL since UFC 3, right? UFC 3? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, now in June they're gonna be doing a live event, right? And the community has come a long way. The ESFL not having the official backing by the UFC or Esports themselves, they grind it. What are your thoughts? Just seeing from where the ESFL started then to now.
All right, and from being on the ESFL first card, basically an OG, it's actually astounding, and I'm actually pretty proud of Z Hunter and all the staff behind it, all the players that's been around. It's actually a sight to see something like that be so small, and it's like a band starting in the backyard. You know what I mean? And then they continue going, and never stop. And then now they got their own room. You know what I mean? Their own theater, right? And then you go from there to where you can now sell shows essentially, and then you continue doing that. That's where ESFL is. It's basically the community. When ESFL first started, really just the community watching, right? And then now they got more people watching. Obviously, the viewership isn't crazy right now because the game's deep into the cycle and there's not many updates, and so it's not much traction on the game. But it's actually crazy, bro. To think that they're going to be an event in Vegas for EA Sports UFC 4 is actually crazy. And I won't really say anything about UFC because they've backed ESBC with that Esports league thing that they did twice. They did it twice, right? They did it. Yeah, they did it twice, and they didn't have to. So that's definitely a huge W. And it even says that you got people like the UFC looking at you. You know what I mean? That's literally the top dog. Like UFC, the game, now UFC, the company, fused together to do something. And that was huge. And that was, later on into the game cycle, UFC 4. And honestly, imagine if they did it at the beginning. I can see 5, 6, 7, 8, 10K views on a live stream easy if they did it then. But still, the fact that they did it, and then as far as EA, and I'm not going to drag EA too much because I've dragged them enough and they know it. The support with UFC 4 when it comes to EA personally has been piss poor. They've been around like the first ESFL event, basically, and I'm gonna say it straight up. I don't have no ties to EA. They can't hush me or none of that. Basically, they looked at ESFL, in my opinion, was another way to promote their game and help them out. And once it no longer was a benefit to them, I no longer see any of the staff or none of it. Maybe they do watch it, but I don't see none of them in nobody's chats, in nobody's nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously, they probably might not be in my chat. I'd be on their head top. But ESFL, like, I don't see them in there no more. I don't see the least they could do. I don't see no retweets. You know what I'm saying? Them tweeting the ESFL is live. You don't see none of that. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, like, if you can't support your own like community, how are you gonna prosper? Obviously, the ESFL is prospering with what they're doing, but EA has done not much to help the game prosper, and that's from a standpoint of supporting and honestly even updating the game, changing stuff to change the meta, to fix things. They done some updates, but let's be honest, bro, the game is heavily flawed. To anyone that disagrees, chances are you're probably good at the game and you're probably winning, so you're okay with it. And that's all I'm gonna say on that, bro. Because EA, I could go on and on and on with EA, but they sick of hearing me, and I'm sick of speaking on them.
Yeah, facts. Definitely gotta agree with you there. When you're talking about, we all know the game is pretty flawed. I guess is the least we could say on that for sure. But going into more like of the tournament aspect, like we have the, like Jay just mentioned, we have the the tournament coming up in Vegas for ESFL. Going like into the future, like what do you think some things that, like, you kind of mentioned a little bit what you just said, but like what do you think are some things that can kind of help build upon like this first like in person like live, besides like the LECs that happened like UFC 2? What's something that the ESFL can kind of like build on and like keep this momentum going? Because we don't want to just have like basically how we did like the LEC, like we have one like in-person event and then like nothing else after that for like years. Like, what's a way that can keep that momentum up and like keep progressing the community and keep that momentum going to get like more in-person events and just things of that nature?
Anything that involves money, you gotta, in order to get more exposure or get more viewership, honestly, you gotta have a reason for people to want to watch. Obviously, the ESFL, people want to watch it, period. But I'm pretty sure ESFL gets more views when you have money on the line. Money is like the factor. Like if you run a tournament and people see for $500, oh, I want to watch because somebody's gonna win some money. So with the ESFL, I feel like they gotta, even if it's once a month, you gotta continue the momentum. Honestly, I feel like once a month may be too slow, but like twice a month, every other week, you have some sort of money tournament where someone can win some money. Keep the same rules, and it'll be a competitive variant, whatever rules it may be. That's how you continue and keep the momentum, because doing what ESFL is doing now, I just think it fizzes out. And I ain't gonna go deep into it because I don't know if you guys are gonna ask me questions about the ESFL, but basically they gotta give a reason for people to watch. You've been doing the same thing for a very long time, but now it's time to renovate and try to branch out and do different ideas. I don't know what it may be, but you got to try to do different things. And personally, I don't really talk to Zayaf or nothing, but I do know or heard something about Zayaf trying to do something like an Ultimate Fighter thing. And or something like that as far as on ESFL. And that's pretty cool. That's something that you can do. But personally, I think the best thing you can do is money tournaments. You can even do buy-in tournaments. That way it can help. You know, it can be a pot, but people also have to buy in. So it'll help if EZ Hunter or whoever staff may be, it don't break their pockets. Because prime example, when UFC 4 first dropped, and not first dropped, but right before UFC 4 dropped, I was doing those money tournaments with the calves, going crazy. The viewership was going crazy, getting a lot of love on it. That was at the end of Esports UFC 3 game cycle. And I was still, and it was popping like that. That's because of money. So you got to give people a reason to watch or give people a reason to even want to play. And even if it's $100, $200, it's still money. And then obviously you're going to have those guys out there to be like, oh, it's only this, it's only that. But they still watching. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, and Cody actually went in very, very deep detail on
I seen that.
How he looks at the community now and why he thinks the ESFL and why the UFC 4 community isn't where it should be and where the potential is at. All of us and many others have displayed why they think so as well. But I want to ask you, for the people who haven't heard your opinion, what do you think is like really hindering the player base or the community in general from just growing to this full potential, like the ESFL, like these money tournaments, like content creation and things like that?
As far as content creation, I think it starts with the OGs. I'm not an OG. I'm coming up, but like at where I'm at now, I'm like one of the top guys in the UFC community when I'm really nowhere as far as in the YouTube game. And it starts with guys like Marshall, obviously, help putting people on. That's the head honcho. If Marshall puts you in a video, chances are everyone's gonna know you because everyone watches his videos. Or if I put you in a video and shout you out, yada yada yada, the same thing. Obviously, Marshall has extremely more traction, but it starts with the OGs, bro, and trying to put people on. Obviously, we know if you give somebody a shout out, a lot of those guys are going to subscribe just because Marshall said it. But the point is, it's more exposure within the community. So it motivates more people to continue making content because a lot of guys, they just quit because they're not getting viewership. And again, you gotta help out the community. I'm not asking Marshall to do it, but I'm just saying that's how it usually works. A lot of guys collaborating, continuous collaborations, even if the aspect of this guy's doing this. Okay, now what is he gonna do? React to it. All of these guys, it's just a continuous flow of content. And if everyone is just straight up sticking to themselves or, not helping nobody out or not even looking to collab, how is a community gonna grow? A community is together, not by yourself. And as far as the ESFL with them growing, and I'll speak on, multiple topics, I personally can't even watch ESFL much anymore because I feel like the player base has become more so I want to win, and you should have that mindset. But everybody wants to win the same way. It's the same fighters. If it's bantamweight, it's Jan fine. You don't see TJ, and TJ's a pretty good pick. You guys witnessed me. No offense to who was it, Trixie or somebody I played with, and they was using Jan, and I was actually able to do well and win the fight against him playing smart and logical. But everyone just falls into this, I gotta use this fighter, and it gets boring. Nope. Imagine two John Jones fighting each other. Exactly. It's impossible, and nobody wants to see that. Bro, it's like, well, some people might probably do, but like, no one wants to, when it comes to competitive play, no one wants to see two of the same fighter going against each other. And I like to reference on Mortal Kombat, imagine two Cetrions going against each other. Like, you literally fall asleep. It literally be cancer. Nobody wants to see the same style fighters fighting each other over and over and over again. You go, okay, let's move up. Where do we go next? What's after bantam? Was it featherweight? We know who's in that weight class. You're either using Max or Connor in ESFL, and it's like, bro, there's other fighters. There's someone named Yair Rodriguez that a lot of guys sleep on. That man has some real good kicks, and like no one uses him. Giga Chikadze, no one uses him. It's like, who's going to step out and challenge themselves and actually look to be a champion and stand out? Because, oh, you're the champion, but who gives a fuck, bro? This week you're going to use him. We know this week you're going to use him. When UFC 3, when it came to champions, it was multiple fighters. And to speak on some Advaita, he literally was using multiple fighters. Like it's no dexterity. Everyone's the same. It's just it's bland. And when you continue to see the same thing over and over and over again, it's like watching the same movie. It gets bland and no one wants to watch that. That's personally why I stopped watching it. It's just not entertaining, not exciting no more. I watch it maybe to watch some personal guys fight that have intriguing styles, but even a lot of guys that have intriguing styles have fallen into the using the same fighters and playing the same way, and it's just not exciting. Yeah, we like watching good fights, watching people win, but where's the person that says, I'm gonna come out and, use this fighter and win? Zayaf did that, If I had to give somebody the most respect for being an ESFL champion, I give it to Zayaf, because he won with multiple ways and with multiple styles and multiple fighters. And I don't even talk to Zayaf, we not, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give respect where respect is due.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Good point you mentioned right there, where a lot of the times, like, people fall into like that win by any means type of mindset, and that just drives like their entire play style, who they pick. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you want people to continuously, like you mentioned, fighting games, like Mortal Kombat, all sorts of different fighting games, you never see like constant, like you mentioned, like there's mirror matches. Like we see mirror matches from time to time in other games, sure, but like we don't see it like every single time we tune in. It's mirrors. Every event, every fight, everybody on the cards mirror matching each other. Like I think that's the point where it's like, okay, like that's definitely going to tune off a lot of the viewers, because like you definitely want to have some variety. If not some variety, I mean, not like the entire card is doing a bunch of mirror matches. Like you obviously want to have some variety there or something. But like I said, like that goes back into the point of like growing the community. Multiple people tune in, like especially like the casual people, like people who play the game casually. Like they're not going to want to watch through like the same matchup over and over and over again. And like I always mention, when the casual watches the supposed high-level players, they see what they're doing, who they're using, how they're playing. They're like, well, if I want to get better, I want to get some wins, I got to play like this. I got to use Jan. I got to use Max. I got to use Connor. And then that's how you get flooded and ranked with Maxes, Connors, Jans, John Jones. That's how you get flooded with these picks, because everybody's trying to watch the top dogs, or who they think is supposedly the top dogs. And that's what they just copy, copy the style that they see. And that's how they try to progress to the game. And that's how things get, pretty bad for everybody, just in general, and for the community online, because everyone's trying to copy what they think will work. And then you get nothing but toxicity. Then everything kind of just blows up from there. But going on that topic right there, for some of the people who like to watch high-level gameplay, but don't necessarily want to copy like some of these styles that you'll see. Like, this is actually a good topic for you specifically, because right now you're like grinding real high up on the UFC 4 leaderboards. I know leaderboards is your favorite topic. So let me ask you this: as for someone who's been grinding like the very, very top of the leaderboards, where the supposed elite players are supposed to be, how has that experience been for you, fighting like people who are supposed to be at the top of the game, but obviously you pretty much can tell the styles up there kind of get a little bit strange up there. So why don't you talk about your experience grinding that high up on the leaderboard?
I mean, honestly, like, it's cancer, and it's got to the point where I just match the cancer. Like, don't get me wrong. Would I love to use somebody else? Of course, but on my specific live stream, if you're going to use Max Holloway in featherweight, I'm going to use Conor in featherweight. If you're going to use Dustin Poirier in lightweight, I'm going to use Conor McGregor. And the thing is, I have respect. So if you go somebody that's that's not Conor Max, I'm not going to go Conor, because you're not going somebody, the obvious meta pick. And a lot of guys on those leaderboards, bro, a lot of them will spam certain things to make it not look like, and I'm gonna say the knees, a few of them, and they know who they are. They throw knees. They don't spam them like consecutively. They'll throw them after certain combinations, and you won't notice it, but rounds is 3 minutes. They done threw about 15 knees in those 3 minutes, but they done broke it down the way they've been throwing them, so you don't really pick up on it. And then as far as we can get into the clinch spammers and stuff like that, and it's busted. Like, people know what they're abusing. They can be like, oh, well, it's in the game, it's EA. You know what you're abusing. You know what you're doing is a very strong way to win, and the least risk way to win. You know what I mean? Like the call, what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't want to say cause and effect, but the risk and the reward is what I'm looking for. The risk and the reward. The risk of throwing double jabs and then another jab into a rear hand versus them slipping your jab and hitting you with a cross and not doing that much damage. You know what I mean? Versus in real life, all it take is missing a jab and somebody can crack you. I ain't gonna say I want that, but if a guy's gonna be that aggressive, especially they'll do it against a counter fighter, then he needs to be punished. But as far as these guys on these leaderboards, man, they get real grimy for these wins, bro. I done seen them get real grimy for these wins. And it's like, bro, what do you have to gain? And I understand you probably want to be on your leaderboards, tell your friends at school, you rank this on the leaderboards. But even then, what do you gain? Because personally, if they don't watch UFC, they don't even give a damn. Oh, that's what's up, bro. You gonna get one of those. Moral happiness is cool, but like, if you know you're doing a certain thing to get there, did it really feel that good? And the top of them leaderboards, bro, like I was with like number 3. I'm probably dropped down to like 15, 17, 20 now because of how the rank system is. But them guys get real grimy down there. Real grimy. And they get as grimy as sniping me on second account so they don't lose points on their main. If they lose points on that burner that has enough rank points to find me. And they don't care if they lose because they have nothing to lose.
All right.
And everything they gain just trying to take my points.
Yep. And I want to leave you off with this question. You talk about, the OGs trying to try to put everybody else on. Is there any creators out there that many may not know of, and people don't watch that you think should be getting the recognition they deserve? And also, it's kind of a double question. I say that's the last one. What's next for Pryoxis?
All right, so as far as creators that people don't know of, that's a tough question just to get right off the top of the head, because then you got to bring up guys, and when you bring up guys to leave somebody out, they get mad. Like, you remember me, bro? And it's like, no, it ain't like that. It's like, you know what I mean? But, and the first one that comes to mind is JG's right off the top. I'm not gonna lie, because his help within the community. Yes, like for somebody to go to the extent to support creators as he's went, as far as financially, and that's like the least thing. But the time, he spends a lot of times in guys' streams watching people videos, and I feel like he deserves more. Actually, did a collab with him, but he deserves more recognition. I know he called Marshall out on Twitter, and a lot of people was like at Marshall or something like that trying to get, a collab with him. I personally think Jay Cheezer is like one of the top people that deserves a collab with Marshall and some more exposure to his channel.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I feel is underrated, and I guarantee nobody will say this, is Universal God.
Mm-hmm.
That man is funny. He puts on he got the green screen in the back. When he don't give a damn if he win or do he lose, he gonna throw up after he win, after he lose, he gonna throw something funny in the background. That's a highly underrated content creator. He's on Twitch. It's hard to just think of him off the top like that, bro. Because those who come to my mind, because they're one, JG's helps a lot of people out, and Universal God is just entertainment. It's funny. I don't know. I literally would have to come back to this and like think about it. Go to YouTube, like, okay, who is these guys that deserve some more recognition?
All right.
Or with like Dave. Dave is one. Dave is a grinder. Dave is funny. Dave is funny, a grinder, and he's just having fun. It's another YouTuber. I mean, Dave isn't really. He's not locking himself within a game though. So I wouldn't want to say Dave is UFC community because Dave does videos. He's done reactions. Dave has done WWE. He done UFC. He's been doing the what is that, Query or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's multiple things that he would that he does on his channel. But let me look down. Let me look down on my list because I don't want to leave nobody out. Have nobody feeling bad. But hey, it is what it is. If you grind, you deserve it. You know what I mean? But like Heem kind of just coming back. But Heem should deserve way more subs than he has. Heem was high level, entertaining with him being, he was a bit ragey. I don't want to say GOAT because GOAT is kind of well established within, the YouTube UFC 4 community. He has 2 points up to K. But even then, GOAT can have more because GOAT is entertaining. 1, 2, literally it's number 1 on PlayStation. Top dog on PlayStation. And literally it's watching him. If you watch GOAT, you can get better at UFC 4 because that man, I don't know what it is, but that man just wins. He's one of those people that play video games. We all know people that just win. It's doesn't do the craziest shit, just wins. And just to scroll down, look at some more guys. Dominator, but he's established. People know Dom, but I don't think a lot of people know Dom. But as far as UFC, I think he gets a lot of international love. I ain't finna waste time to go through this list of YouTubers, man. It's y'all know who y'all are, man. Y'all know if y'all grinding, but it's a lot of guys that deserve more recognition than they have. But it takes for OG to put them on or them to try to really just get into the algorithm. But it's hard with UFC because the game is so bland. And, it's so outdated. It's not updates. It's not continuously trending. So it's hard to really grow on this. So it takes for, somebody with much more subscribers to try to help that person out. Even if it's not oh, well, Marshall Mine shouted me out or Ricky J, but Ricky J kind of been doing more WWE. And then as far as another one, what's his name? MMA Game, he's not really making much content anymore. So I always refer back to Marshall. And I don't want to make it seem like Marshall, you have to do this. Marshall, you got it. But if Marshall shouts you out, right? And people are like, oh, well, he only got 100 subs. Well, that's 100 more subs than they have. And on top of that, you got 100 subs probably within that day or 200 subs within that day that you would gain, probably take you a year to get on the path that a lot of these, UFC content creators are going. So be appreciative, even if you gain 10 subscribers from, a shout out or a collab. So what it's going to take. And then as far as what's next for me, I'm about to knock niggas' head off in the motherfucking Vegas, bro. That's what's next, bro. That's the next big thing with June 3rd, June 4th, June 5th. That's what's next, bro. I've been playing UFC. I've been playing, really been on it. As far as streaming, I've been on it. And a lot of times I've been playing in the weight classes that I know UFC or the ESBC event is going to be in. If you don't notice, I know bantamweight's going to be there. I know featherweight and then middleweight and lightweight. Those divisions are going to be the top divisions. So when I'm playing UFC, and I like that I'm playing these high level guys, but I ain't gonna lie, a couple of these niggas to me getting sparked. And I ain't gonna say no names because they know who they are, but they've been playing they certain ways and they've been getting sparked. Don't get me wrong, they done beat me too. But some of these guys, they don't look as invincible as they once were, or even period, they don't look as invincible. So next for me is to go to the ESFL event. First things first is to have fun because, it's a community-based thing. It's to have fun. 2 is I gotta try to, be the king, try to knock some niggas out, try to put myself on the map with Pride Gang, So that's what's next. And until then, continuous streams, continuous uploads. But yeah, man, catch me in Vegas, Jay in Vegas, Dark Side in Vegas, June 4th, 5th. And I'm competing. I don't think Jay or Darkseid's competing, just there for the vibes, but I'm definitely out there to try to knock a couple people out, man. I'm out there to knock a couple of people out, possibly get knocked out. I'm there for all the smoke, man. So that's what's next for me.
Yes, sir. And I feel any last words of encouragement, motivation, or just any last words in general, man.
Yeah. Last words. Anybody out there that's within the UFC 4 community, man, keep going. I know your videos don't get many clicks. I know it's hard. I know it make you want to give up, but again, if you give up, you never know where you can go. You gotta understand. You gotta wait for UFC 4, and on top of that, you can't stop. A lot of guys they stop. Okay, I'm gonna just wait for UFC 4. Well, if you just wait for UFC 4, the people that been grinding UFC 3 is probably gonna pass you up. So you can't stop. You gotta establish yourself within the community. You gotta stand out. You can't do the same thing another content creator has done. I preach this a lot because if you do, why would they watch you when they could just watch the originator? So try to stand out. Obviously, it's a combat sports game, so it's one-on-one. And it's not too much you can do differently from others, but you can always bring a different personality, different edits into your videos. So, and then if you want it, you're going to get it. At the end of the day, if you want it and you want it bad enough, you're going to go get it. And nothing's going to stop you from getting it but yourself. So, whether that's, upgrading your equipment, obviously we know that's money, but no excuse. There's no excuse why you couldn't. If you can't make videos, I understand that. No excuse why you're not streaming. Unless, obviously, one, your internet ain't good. But if you're on console, you can stream directly from your console. What happened?
I was like, that used to be me. The bad
Oh, that used to be you. Like, I ain't got the equipment. I ain't got a camera. You don't need a camera. Yeah, a camera is, it's a positive. But referring back to Bowl Cut Boy, he doesn't put his cam in any video. And again, the man's at 85,000 subscribers. So don't feel like you got to be on camera. You just got to be entertaining. So that wraps that up, man. I ain't going to speak on no other community because I'm kind of in the UFC 4 community. But one day we can be YouTubers. We're obviously YouTubers, but you'd be like, yo, instead of people attaching my name to UFC 4, you know what I'm saying? They just say my name. You know what I mean? So.
All right.
That's the plan. Keep grinding. And when UFC 5 drop, it's time to grind nonstop. And also, don't get discouraged when UFC 5 drop because understand the big dogs are going to eat first. It's a lot of guys that's going to feel like they're going to hop into the game. But Marshall go eat first. Ricky J going to eat first. MMA Game, even though his channel, he ain't been uploading, his subscribers still there. The chances are they still get the notifications. They going to eat first. They're going to get all the viewership first because that's just the way YouTube is. They're going to recommend those channels or those videos first. So get in where you fit in. And that's about it, bro.
Yeah. Dark side.
I can't end it off no better than that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's it for me, too.
Hey, I appreciate y'all boys for having me, too, man.
Shit, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah. We'll be we do all creators, man. We'll be leaving their links down below in the description, man. Also follow us on Twitter. That's where we are most active, man. Get live updates on everything. And like Pry said, we will be in Las Vegas. Yes, sir. So we'll be trying to get some live interviews there, some live footage. So make sure y'all follow us on Twitter also. YouTube channel links down below in the description. Wink, wink. So you know what I'm saying? Go do that. I really don't have any words of encouragement. Honestly, I would just say basically what Pry, like I can't even end it off that better, but basically what Pry said, man, and just try to be different, man. Listen, when I first started, man, I was literally doing everything off my phone. I don't mean just like everything. I was legit recording off of my phone, doing commentary off of my phone, editing off of my phone, uploading off of my if you really want it, you gonna go get it, man. So I mean, shit, Then I eventually upgraded, but if you really want it, man, you gonna go get it. And yeah, y'all already know what time it is with me. Do something productive for your day. Beating your meat. It's not productive, but that is gonna be it for Combat Esports Media, man. All links down below in the description, and we will see y'all next time.